welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Lil Nebstar, and this is the list that he used to make a run in multiple Magic Online challenges lately. He has at least one top 8, and I believe there was a 9th on tiebreakers. Solid performance across a couple tournaments there. This is Malevolent Rumble Yorion Beans. Yorion Beans is not a new deck. It is not a particularly good deck right now, due to the hostility against control decks with the combo decks checking you at turn 0 and the stompy decks playing either Sowing Myco's Blood or Blood Moon. It's tough to be a 5-color control gamer right now, but we're making it happen. The core engines here are up the Beanstalk. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, you draw a card. That's Leyline Binding that should cost 1 or 2 most of the time. Yorion Revealed, Force of Will that should cost 0. Solitude that will frequently cost 0. That's the cheat to make up the Beanstalk a busted engine. Also, Yorion itself is a 5-mana spell that you can grab at some point in the game. You cast it, you draw a card for each Beanstalk, you exile the Beanstalks. When Yorion comes in, they come back in, draw more cards. It's a late game super reload that comes with a 4/5 dragon attached. What Lil Nebstar has done differently is make Malevolent Rumble another engine in the deck. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put a permanent card from among them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard, make a 0/1 spawn that you can sack for a colorless mana. This card is very good if you care about what's going on in your graveyard. On its surface, it's just a 1-mana impulse. Look at 4 cards, you take the best one, and it spots you 1 of the mana on the way out. That's a super reductive understanding of everything this card does, because that 1 mana on the way out you could use on a future turn. That spawn is instant play. You could block a Barrowglyph with that 0/1. It could represent a massive amount of life. And all those cards that go to your graveyard, what are we doing with those? How about Life from the Loam? How about 4 copies of Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath? How about 2 Timeless Dragons? A bunch of stuff that functions out of the graveyard in this deck. And what we have to do to make Rumble worth it is skew our cards towards permanence. That means Leyline Binding over something like Prismatic Ending makes more sense because you could grab this off Rumble. Solitude is a permanent that is also a removal spell. Teferi Time Raveler maxed out on those. That's a bound spell and lock piece that is a permanent. Endurance, there's your Graveyard Hate. I'm not just going to name every card in the deck, but you see what's going on here. The Rumble dovetails nicely with what Up the Beanstalk is asking you to do because you're playing Leyline Binding instead of Prismatic Ending. A Yorion deck needs multiple engines anyway. We're supercharging the Uro. Bant Loam is an established archetype. It just more looks at your Loam is pretty sick. This is overall a very classic Uro-centric Bant control deck, but the Rumble gives it a supercharge button, a way to shred through those 80 cards, find what you need. And I'm excited to give this a try. Let's get into it. This is Rumble Beans. I'm on the draw in round 1 against Island Ponder Scoop, a person I've played against multiple times, and I'm always offended by their name. It feels like a personal attack. I'm going to keep my hand. It's missing some colors, but I have both of the Wastelands in the deck. If there is a cheese game to be had, I can have it, and I do have Force Blue card if I need to do something. Okay, here we go. Island Ponder, are they willing to scoop to a Wasteland? These are the questions. And normally I'm not interested in a parity Wasteland, and by that I mean I waste you, we both go down a land, then we just go turn cycle again. Wasteland is best leveraged in a deck where I waste you and I attack for 3, and then we play the same turn cycle over again, but you're down 3 life. And control decks don't do that, but if I'm just trying to tread water until I find another color of mana to unlock my removal, find an engine, I don't mind doing this. Oh, look at this. Island Ponder Scoop indeed. They missed a land drop. Okay, and here is Tamiyo and another land. I still don't have access to another color, but this Tamiyo Braidstorm gets the party going. Okay, they've got a Wasteland. Let's play this turn cycle over again, but now I'll have a Tameo. All right, Tropical Island, Tameo. I think Tameo is better than Brainstorm. They brainstorm to try to find a land, because what if they have another Wasteland? Well, what if they don't, and Tameo just goes to town? Yeah, they're cleaning up. Are they going to discard an Atraxa, or are we going to see something fair? Arctide Regent. Cool. That's relatively fair. Attack with Tameo. And I think I would... No, I'm going to just crack clues for a turn. They are clearly just struggling and dying. Why would I cast a spell that gives them any sort of opportunity to do anything when I could just click buttons and pull ahead? Okay, Animate Dead discarded. They are a Reanimator deck. Up the Beanstalk on the stack. This makes that Force of Will in my hand better. I won't fight over this, though. Knowing that they're a combo deck, I think I should hold back my Force just to keep nonsense from happening. Force pitching Daze. Okay. Played perfectly around the Daze by not giving them any islands. I've also missed a land drop now, though. Boo! Okay, they found a land. They dumped a Thoughtseize. Okay. Come on, Wasteland. Do the work. Alright, I'll attack with Tameo first. I'm going to Wasteland so they can't daze me, and then I am going to Brainstorm, and this is an important moment to find a land, and it was the last card that we saw. Okay. Endurance is great, Rumble's great, Loam's great. I like every one of these cards. I'm going to put back Leyline Binding and one of the Teferis, I think. Or what does Consign to Memory do? It pitches to Force. Okay, Consign to Memory. Yeah, Consign to Memory, and I feel like I'm doing the Family Guy meme where Rumble could be anything, even a Leyline Binding. I'll put back Rumble. Tameo flips, plus hit the land like a boss, and pass the turn. I even have Loam now, so I could just... Island Ponder Scoop confirmed! Yes, we did it! They played Island Ponder, and then a Force of Will, and then scooped. We did it. Made them live up to their name. Okay, we've got Tempo Reanimator across the table. Ghost Vacuum. Notice these are Ghost Vacuums, not Surgical Extractions, because you'd like to rumble into them. Endurance comes in. Endurance is sick because it is good versus the Reanimate side of the deck and the Creature side of the deck. I don't even care if they juke, if Endurance is my interaction. I'm not worried about the Creature side of the deck. That is what we're built for. So I have to respect the Reanimator side. Does that mean I'm going whole hog on Force of Negation? How much of the hog is going to be involved? Cards that are less good include... Teferi's kind of mid, but Consign to Memory is already mid, and Teferi's more blue cards I'm cutting, while bringing in 2 additional forces. You know, it's the reason for the season, but I think I'm going to shave a couple rumbles here. Uro is both blue and a win con. Teferi is blue and meaningful interaction. Yeah, one of these Timeless Dragons can go. I did just cut 3 things that represent a land drop. Got to think about that as I play against the Wasteland Daze deck. But Solitude, Endurance, Force of Will, Force of Negation, Swords to Plowshares. I've got a lot of play. All right, I'm not going to bring in all 7 forces. I will stop at... Or all 8 forces. I'll stop at 7. All right, let's go. Try it like this. Okay, I have Force Blue card. I have Rumble to keep the game moving. Never want to see Mystic Sanctuary this early, but I'm not going to mull a hand over it. Polluty Duty. Basic Island, we got him on the run. There's Ponder. Island Ponder. Can we get him to scoop again? Did not shuffle their Ponder. Hedge Maze. Found Flooded Strand. Just keep it. Decks like these where you're just always going to get Wastelanded if they have Wasteland, you just want to prioritize stable mana. They only play 4 Wastelands. And I have 4 lands lined up right now with a Ponder to move cards around if I need to. And because they fetched Island on turn 1, I'm not that worried about what they could do outside of wasting me here. And look at that. Just shipped it back immediately. I think I'd like to save my fetch land and cast this Ponder at this point. Life from the Loam. Okay. We love that. Alright, I will put Loam in my hand, Uro on top. Uro is blue and green for all the pitch cards that I'm playing. End step, Troll Cycle. Okay. Teferi is blue and green for, or blue and white for Solitude and Force. Okay. Just passing the turn. This represents Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. I will fetch a Tropical Island, probably. Okay, let's actually take a look. It has to be a green source. I already have white for Savannah. Yeah, Trop and Savannah are my only fetchable sources here. There is both not a Taiga in the deck, and Flooded Strand couldn't get it if there was. Tropical Island it is. Life from the Loam, pick up 2 lands. Money. If this resolves, I'll have 8 cards in hand and I can discard this Uro. And it did resolve, cool. Do I want to discard Uro or do I want to keep up Force blue card, Solitude white card? Yeah, I think I'll discard. If they entomb in the end step, I'll just Force Will, then I don't have to discard anything. Right, Undercity Sewer. I'll probably just discard Hedge Maze, if I'm being honest. Just want to keep my how I can lose the game immediately buttons covered. If I had another blue card, I would have discarded Uro. Ponder. And I won't be dredging Loam this turn. I have my next 2 land drops lined up. I can Rumble, I can Teferi. It's looking good over here. If I draw another blue card, I might just cast Uro. Get the front half going. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Basic Swamp. They could have Harbinger of the Seas, but Solitude answers that. And there is one of each Bant basic in the deck. Thoughtseize. Alright, well, go nuts. I suspect I'll lose Solitude or Teferi here. Force of Will is kind of a bad deal, and I have 2 ways to pitch to interact with something. And the thing I would need to interact with would be a creature. I guess if they take Force and they get the Atraxa in even briefly, they get the reload and then maybe Solitude. Alright. Solitude's in the graveyard. First Instinct was right. That's also something they could reanimate if they want, but it's not very good. You lose 5 life, you get a 3/2 that doesn't kill anything. I will not be dredging Loam, as promised. I think I want to cast Rumble. Do I want to play on my land first? I think I do. What land would I play if I draw it? Nothing? Yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay, Rumble. I'm playing around Daze with the Teferi. Solitude up the Beanstalk. Okay, I could replace the Solitude they just took. They clearly care about it. Or I could get one of my engines going. I have Uro in hand that is one of my engines. I will take the Solitude. And then I'll cast Ponder off of... I probably have to keep green mana going, as much as I'd like to build out my domain here. There's not a Volk in this deck either. Yeah, reminding myself how this mana base is constructed. There's not like Taigas and Volks and stuff. It is just Bant with some other stuff going on. Dress Down is good against a temporary Atraxa situation. Okay, I'll put another Uro in my hand with Dress Down on top. I could just Dress Down, cast Uro next turn. I have the 5 mana, thanks to the spawn. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it is available. Entomb, okay. Force pitching Uro. Gotta fight over this. They know I had Force blue card and Solitude white card. They don't know about the other Uro in my hand. They force me back pitching Brazen Borrower. Okay. They're going to get an Entomb. They'll probably get Atraxa, try to reload. Unless they have like Valgavoth or some pivot monster. The Eldrazi spawn playing around Daze here. Busted. Atraxa it is. Animate Dead resolves. Atraxa comes in. Gotta plow this thing. Hopefully they don't have Force blue card as their last 2 cards again. Okay, cool. Atraxa's gone, they get to reload, but this is one of their win cons no longer in the deck. And they can't reanimate it because it's in exile. Okay, let's see the flip. Entomb Reanimate are in the flip. Entomb Reanimate Daze. Well, you can't take Entomb and Daze. Entomb Reanimate, Troller, Brazen Borrower, land. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna beat an Archon of Cruelty from here. They took Reanimate, Entomb, Misty, and Borrower. Yeah, they'll probably cast the Entomb right now while they know my interaction is soft. Okay, Ponder. That was one of the unknowns in the hand. We know they have a blue card if they find a Force. Did not shuffle. Terrifying. Not going to dredge Loam. I have the Dress Down. What I can do here is Mystic Sanctuary, target Force of Will, play Uro, draw Force of Will. Yeah, I'll target Force with that. And then leave up white. Just make them think about the most things. Okay, pass the turn. I have Force. I could Dress Down instead. They did just Ponder and keep it. Thoughtseize is really good here. Force of Will's really good here. They don't know the last card in my hand. I could be bluffing, and it's not blue. But I think I would have picked up Ponder or Brainstorm if I didn't have a blue card. Reanimating my Uro. Yeah, go nuts, homie. This is just cycle, because Uro dies. They lose 3 life, then they gain 3 life and draw a card. That's fine. That probably means they have multiple reanimate effects in their hand, or they just literally can't beat Force of Will and need to do something. Okay, they could take me off white. I will float white. I want them thinking about white cards, because they're just going to pass before they do anything anyway. Here's a fetch. Just a surveil land, cool. Get the card on top. Do I want to Dredge Loam this turn? That sets up Uro for a future turn. Make sure I don't lose a resource denial game. I'll at least have cards in hand. All right, well, there's the Entomb. I'll still force that. Okay. That might have been a trick. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay, so I will Dredge Loam. And I will float a colorless mana here so they don't get an Orc army. And now we play Garbage Magic, where I have Uro going to their Orcish Bowmaster and Brazen Borrower in hand. Okay, Life from the Loam, target Hedge Maze, Tundra, and Flooded Strand. Do I want Volcanic Island? I don't think so. Okay, here's a big Loam. They know my shields are down. Hedge Maze, get a peek. Up the Beanstalk. That card is good if I can clear the Bowmaster. Alright, I will put up the Beanstalk on top. Uro thoroughly outmuscles Orcish Bowmaster, for the most part. At least when you're at high life total, it does. Opponent Brainstorming. They use the Entomb and Reanimate we know about. If they have another send, we could be in trouble. Once my Uro's in play, them reanimating my Solitude becomes actually a good play, instead of mediocre like it was earlier. We know they can Brazen Borrow to tempo through the Uro a little bit. But 3 is a lot of life to gain. Reanimating my Endurance, that's really good. Okay, yep. Well, there goes my whole plan. I did randomly mill that over last turn. Loam, Uro, it's all gone. Alright, up the Beanstalk. I need you to beat this Orcish Bowmaster. Honestly, other than the Orcish Bowmaster, I would still feel ahead in this game, but the fact that I'm drawing a draw engine and bleeding out steadily as it happens, not ideal. Okay, up the Beanstalk. Endurance, okay. That could answer the Bowmaster if they just attack. I have to wait till combat as much as I'd like to do it main phase to at least play around a Murktide kind of thing. Right, here's an attack. Another Endurance. They could at minimum bounce this with Brazen Borrower if they have Daze or Force. That's all great for them. Resolved. Target you. Get those cards back out of here. Block the Bowmaster. Okay, they haven't bounced it yet. Did they shuffle away the Brazen Borrower? That's interesting. Or did I just turn on a Reanimate and they're fine with this? Oh, I turned on a Murktide Regent. Oh, it's Troll. That works too. Alright, well, Bowmaster's gone. Life total's low. But if I draw like one removal spell here, we can do the damn thing. That's not a removal spell. I can get Yorion. Hope I don't get Thought Seized this turn. I end up taking 6 or 7 in combat. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If they held the Borrower to push extra damage now, but that doesn't even work because Endurance has Flash. Ponder. This is good magic. I like when we find an opponent who wants to go back and forth, exchange resources, do combat math. Obviously, Legacy is a format that accommodates all types of magic, but I like this so much more than Eldrazi or Oops All Spells. Even though this Reanimator deck is busted and probably should have something taken from it to bring it back in line, I still think this is fine. Of course, we get Thought Seized immediately. Alright, bye Yorion. Back to the spot where ripping a removal spell is very important. Fetching here is actually really interesting. There is a Meticulous Archive still in the deck. Fetching here puts me to dead on board. Oh, I'm dead on board anyway. Yeah, okay. I'll just fetch. I think it's correct to fetch anyway, but if they just attack with more than one creature, I lose anyway. Life from the Loam. I don't want that. Alright. I need a Leyline Binding off the top. Dead. Okay. Alright, well, that did come down to some good interactions at the end. They had the clutch Thoughtseize when they needed it. Okay, Rumbling. Timeless Dragon. This is just a big body, but it's a big body that they can reanimate too. Yeah, I think my plan is still my plan here. It sucks that all my creatures are good against me too. But if I have a Ghost Vacuum, it doesn't matter. Oof. Okay. If they send it fast, this hand is abysmal. If they're on any sort of fair game plan, this hand is fine. I'm going to keep this. This might be one of those things where I lose this game very quickly and unceremoniously, but over a career, keeping hands like this wins you more games, and I will always play to that world. I get Hedge Maze. Hedge Maze. Leyline Binding. That's a removal spell. Bam, Wasteland. And I have the Loam. I could get an actual Wasteland lock going here. Cycle Troll. That's not Entomb. We did it, team. It got a basic Swamp. Now I have Leyline Binding and Teferi that could clear a Troll if they deploy it immediately, which they did not do. Okay, I'm just going to cast Life from the Loam. And I don't need to fetch first because I'd end up going to discard and giving them more information. I guess it's the same information, but it cost me a fetch. Where if they force of negation that, just zap it off. That's pretty bad. Yeah, they do have the Entomb. I have some answers for a monster, but they do get the reload. Yep, there's Animate Zed. They're confident sending it because if I had interaction, I would have fought over the Entomb. Force blue card in the pile. Force blue card and Entomb Animate Zed, but Force is an instant, so they can't take Entomb Animate and Force blue card. They took Troll, Wasteland, Ponder, Animate, Force. Okay, so they're going to try to screw me here. I have to discard 3 cards, sucker. It's like you only drew 2 instead of 5. They discarded Animate Zed, Troll, and Bowmaster. Won't be Drudging Loam here. Oh good, I have my Wastelands now. I believe I should start with Leyline Binding, because that one, they can't daze. Upkeep, Leyline Binding. Binding is particularly awkward because if they just brazen borrow it after I take the Atraxa, Atraxa comes back, reloads them, and it's bigger because it's not getting -1 anymore. Force Pitching Ponder, those are all the cards we knew about. I can take 3 hits from this Atraxa before I lose. Could stabilize at 1, tread in water here. If they waste my white source, that takes a turn off the clock because I have to fetch for another one. There's Wasteland, what color do you want? Okay. Troll of Khazad-dûm is in play now too. They did go for the white. That is almost certainly correct. Looking for Swords to Plowshares, looking for Leyline Binding. Not looking for another Life from the Loam, I'll be honest. I'm going to fetch my basic planes and go for this Teferi. Just blind send it here. Don't daze me, bro. Okay, so they had Force blue card anyway when they went for the Entomb Reanimate. And I'm dead. Oh no, I'm at 1. All right. I don't think there's a sweeper that can get me out of this from here. I don't play a Supreme Verdict, and I can't fetch to cast spells, but I am at 1. Okay. I drew literally lands every turn of the game. And of course, I could have mulliganed to something more aggressive, but when you're an 80-card deck just looking for anything to do, I don't think this hand is bad. I had Binding and Teferi in my opening hand, and since that point, I drew Life from the Loam, and 5 lands. So I'm obviously not going to win that game, but they did also have the Force Protected Entomb Reanimate on turn 3, which attracts about another Entomb Reanimate. That's why this deck needs to be taken down a peg, but I don't feel bad about how that was played or anything. It's just, you know, we're an 80-card deck, and they're a hyper-efficient combo deck. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next-day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2. I am going to keep this hand. It's a 1-lander, but it does have Force blue card. Misty Rainforest can Surveil, and I have 2 different ways to shred once I find the second land. I'm in. Scalding Tarn from the opponent. Underground Sea. Okay. Well, getting thought seized. Remember last round when I complimented my opponent on being willing to go back and forth on normal resources? Let's do more of that and less of this, just as a society. They took Beanstalk instead of Force of Will. That makes me think this is maybe some sort of Dimir tempo deck that doesn't have a combo finish, or they can just beat a Force of Will and they don't care. Didn't draw the land the first time. Cycling Troll for another Underground Sea. Played it immediately. Are we just going for a homie? We are. All right. Force pitching Force. I don't want too many forces here. Teferi could answer Troll down the road. Yeah, they just had Thoughtseize, Force blue card, Troll of Khazad-dûm, Reanimate. Is this worth my Malevolent Rumble to fight over? I think I'd like to see the top card of my deck before I make that decision. And looking at my top card does turn on Daze. Leyline Binding into the graveyard. Okay, I think I have to fight here. Well, this got super shitty. Okay, Endurance resolved at least. Okay, now we're both in the muck. Who can regrove harder? All right, I'll play this Boseiju. Just need lands. For what it's worth, if they didn't Thoughtseize my Bean and beat Force and require me to Endurance, this plan of resolving a 2-drop engine would have worked. Scoreboard. Oh no. The scoreboard. All right, let's just draw a fetch land and it's fine. Easy, easy, easy game. They cycled another Troll, played Underground Sea, and they've got Animate Dead. Sure. I'm going to get Meticulous Archive here, and hoped I see a blue source, or I guess blue or white source on top of my deck. Ponder. Ooh, all right, well, I'll take Ponder in this spot. I can take a couple hits for 5 if Ponder gets me where I need to go. Yeah, I'm right where I need to be. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Drawing the land, drawing the land. Another Leyline Binding on top. Troll is attacking me. I'm going to just go land to Fairy here. That shuffles away a Leyline Binding, but I accept those terms. I'll get Tropical Island. Play to Fairy. It's at least around Daze. And if they force blue card, they're Hellbent, and I still am holding a removal spell. If they have Bowmaster, that sucks, but I still have to bounce the Troll and just let Teferi die. Okay, Daze. Am I getting double dazed here? Do they play a Stifle? What's going on? Okay, they wiggled Bowmaster in. Okay, I mean, this sequencing is fine, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I'll get Tundra to make sure my white mana stays up. Pay for Daze. Their hand right now is an Underground Sea. Have to bounce the Troll. Then Teferi dies, and I go to 6. Hey. Okay. Starting to turn it around. I hope. I'm not going to pitch cast this Solitude unless they Thoughtseize me. Alright, cycling Troll. This is going to be Undercity Sewer. There it is. Because if I draw the land to cast Solitude, I'm just completely cooking. Dump to Polluted Delta. Okay, I go to 6. We love drawing lands. I am just going to pass here and let them go into combat. It would be safer to try to Solitude now. Entomb. Okay, so I know the card in their hand is Underground Sea right now. All right, and now that they have the possibility of an Archon, I'm even more worried about. That opens up a bunch of top decks other than just Daze that I have to worry about. Okay, I'm going to go for the biggest swing I can, which is killing all their stuff. I think I would like Tropical Island now. If they didn't draw Daze or Entomb this turn, I'm in great shape. Should I go to 2 to make sure they didn't draw Entomb? I lose anyway. Doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, just lose to the trigger, even if I bind the Archon. So just going for the best possible outcome for me here. Solitude resolves, eat the 2/2, block the 1/1, go to 8, and hope the last card in their hand is not Reanimate. If I untap here, I think I win. Barrowglyph. All right, cool. All right, maybe I don't win necessarily, but I'm in really good shape, considering how tough this whole game has been up to this point. They ponder. Another binding. These cost 3 right now. Second one's not really doing a lot for me exactly right this moment, but it will in the future. Okay. Brainstorm, binding, Tarn. I'll draw the Tarn. I'll play the binding. This leaves me Hellbent, so if they do rip a reanimate, the Archon doesn't take the card from my hand, then I draw Binding for my next turn, and I deal with the Archon. They polluted Delta. It's turning around. My top card is Brainstorm right now. I think I would like to grab Yorion. Gotta hit the gas. If they do draw Reanimate, having the Yorion in hand is awkward. How much worse is that? Okay, I'm not getting Yorion, never mind. It's really bad to just discard Yorion for free on the best draw in their deck. If I put Yorion in my hand, their best draw in their deck gets better, where I could just sort of tread water. And then grabbing Yorion after we're both out of cards completely sounds really good. Yeah, I talked myself into this. Do they have a second Undercity Sewers? Decks frequently play two. Okay, another Sewer. Kept the card on top. Oh, this is even better. They don't even get the Archon in this universe. Okay, so this is actually interesting. I could bind the Animate Dead now. They never even get the Archon, but the Archon's still in the graveyard. Versus let them have it and then take the Archon out of the game. But then that turns on Brazen Borrower. And one more attack, they can't reanimate anyway. Okay, cool. And then I'm drawing Brainstorm. Now I am going to get Yorion. I'm going to attack them down to 8. Reanimate doesn't work anymore. Yorion. We drew a land. We're doing it, team. Clawing back from the brink. And you all thought I was stupid for keeping that one lander. Nobody actually said that, but I could hear you thinking it. Attack with Solitude. I am going to play Teferi. Am I going to play Teferi? What does that even do? I could Brainstorm. No, I'm going to play Teferi. I could bounce nothing. I could just plus. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to plus. Because now if they do wiggle a creature into play, like Hardcaster Troll or something, that's not a problem anymore. Another Swamp drawn. If I had played Yorion last turn, I would have won this turn, but it's fine. We still got this. And I'm actually going to bounce Solitude, so I'm just not worried about anything they do, and I could just replay Solitude if they get a creature into play. End step, replay Solitude. Yeah, okay, that was a nice one. Really good back and forth magic. Endurance, Ghost Vacuum. Redemption Arc starts now. At least one Force and Negation. Feel like we just did this. It's because we did. I don't know that I want 2 Loams. There are games where it's really important, but you never want to draw 2 of those ever. It is green for Endurance. Consigned to Memory only really interacts with Animate Dead in their deck. I'm not going to bring in Force of Vigor just for Animate Dead. Oh, that was the wrong card. I'm not cutting Ponder, I'm cutting Consigned to Memory. I think last game I cut a Timeless Dragon instead of a Loam. Which of these is more dangerous? I really don't want them reanimating my Timeless Dragon, but bouncing that with Teferi if they do is pretty funny. Okay, I will do the same thing I did last game. Let's get it. Okay, Endurance green card, Force no blue card, Draw Engine, and Mana. All right, I'll keep this. Obviously, if they have a Thoughtseize turn 2, turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 send it with Force backup again, I'm in trouble again. But I just have to draw a blue card, and that's not even true anymore. Or Slurp, Slurp, Slurp. The Vacuum. That just resolved. They're clearly F6'd. I'm getting Wastelanded. My hand is resilient to that. I don't think we've seen Murktide out of this opponent. I think it was the last one, but I'm still going to beat up the graveyard wherever I can. You waste me, I waste you. Cycling a Troll. That could certainly be vacuumed. Okay, they tutored another Underground Sea. Underground Sea. Slurp, slurp. That's the sound vacuums make, by the way. At least mine does. Is my vacuum okay? End step B-Storm. This feels desperate. They might have a troll to shuffle in the upkeep, or they might just be about to miss a land drop and ready to die. My opponent's been really nice in the chat, by the way. Said many nice things about the channel and supporting Legacy and stuff. Any shit I'm talking is purely for content. It's never personal. I was supposed to fetch Hedge Maze in the end step. Busy narrating. I'll live with my mistakes. I have a blue card for my Force now. Orcish Bowmaster is now the card I'm most concerned about. They didn't play it. Another B-Storm. They've certainly seen a lot of cards this game. I have 69 cards in my deck right now. Nice. Screenshot. Stop the count. Found an Underground Sea. That's not a shuffle. Thoughtseize. I think I actually will Force of Negation this, because this Beanstalk's pretty important to me. And as long as Ghost Vacuum's in play, I don't care about Force of Will against the rest of their deck. And this turn did tap them out of Bowmaster. I'll get the Hedge Maze with the intent of deploying Beanstalk here. Hedge Rooney. Yorion Revealed. I'll keep that. Could be useful someday. About to play a Beanstalk. Okay, Beanstalk around Daze. Ooh, Force of Negation pitching Force of Will. Something of a Force of Negation themselves. Okay, we're both down to 3 cards. They just drew their 4th. I believe this environment favors me. If nobody's really doing anything. Exile that Force of Negation. Fetch my Hedge Maze. Or Meticulous Archive. Already used Hedge Maze. Life from the Loam, you don't say. Just broke open the Wasteland game. And they used a Force of Negation last turn. If they have another one, I will live in the universe where that is the consequence. Hedge Maze, Wasteland, Savannah coming back. Or Hedge Maze, Wasteland, Fetchland is better. Who needs a Savannah? Ooh, they do have another Force of Negation. Oh, just Dazing. Yeah, that's fine. That is fine. That's a desperate play. I am in the spot where Ghost Vacuuming proactively could stop a Murktide from coming down, but if I Ghost Vacuum to slow down Murktide, they could just Entomb Reanimate on their turn, which is so much worse. All right, slurp up that Daze. I will Dredge Loam here and continue hitting land drops. And I think as long as I hit land drops, life is good. I didn't mill over any creatures, so I don't have to worry about them reanimating me. I'm going to play Hedge Maze. I don't think putting them in a waste lock is relevant to how this game's actually going to go. I think I just hit my land drops and start playing things that kill my opponent from here. If they play out their 5th land, which they just did, I will respect Force of Will and maybe use Wasteland to take them off it strategically. Okay, suck up that Wasteland. Ghost Vacuum coast to coast. And now, do I want to Wasteland them? I could just cast Timeless Dragon. I can do that next turn, though. I'm going to play this Scalding Tarn and pass. I could just cast Endurance and start beating down. If they Force of Will it, I'll untap and play Timeless Dragon. All right, now Wasteland doesn't take them off Force anyway, so it just doesn't matter. Okay, end step, vacuum up this Undercity Sewer. I don't want that back in their deck where they could fetch it. And then cast Endurance. I hope they do force it. Did not. I am not going to tuck my own graveyard. No real reason to do that when I have Loam going. And we got the GGs. That turn 1 Ghost Vacuum just soloing the game. Once the pressure of the reanimate's off, I just do not care about the rest of their deck. Which is basically blue-black tempo, but watered down because they have a bunch of dead draws. Any Entomb or Reanimate becomes a bad draw once Ghost Vacuum's there. You want to play against mopey creature decks with decks like these. You don't want to play against combo decks particularly. So if you can take the combo lines off, then the game looks like this. Feeling good. Redemption from round 1. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 3. My opponent is Negator 87. Negator 77 is a famous MTGO grinder from a few years ago who always played Turbo Depths. I am not keeping my hand on the strength of it against Turbo Depths, because this seems like it's an imposter. But my hand does answer stuff. I like it. Unless I am 100% sure what the matchup is, there is no universe where I'm going to be like mulling hands that lose to Oops All Spells in game 1, but are otherwise functional. Okay, Hedge Maze, Source of Plowshares from both players. I don't want another land. I suspect they're Nadu right now. Maybe Nadu Breakfast. Rumble! Okay, here we go. First appearance of turn 2 Rumble. Leyline Binding, Timeless Dragon. I'll take the Binding. That's pretty solid. That got the actual card, the Binding, and then Timeless Dragon is graveyard stuff. Certainly not Turbo Depths. Look at this. The mirror match. Okay. It is Nadu Breakfast. Old Hedge Maze Swords to Plowshares combo is not very commonly played these days. Okay, I will plow this Nomad. Right, meow. That's handled. And I could play Uro, but I would rather hold up Leyline Binding, I think. Okay, they've passed with 3 mana available. I'll get my archive here. Something's happening in response. What do we got? Memory's Journey targeting my lands and 2 lands and Timeless Dragon. Sure. Okay. The value Memory's Journey. You love to see it. Life from the Loam. Send that directly into the graveyard. Okay, what happens if I Loam here? I can Loam Uro. I will take the Loam, actually. Then Loam picks up Scalding Tarn, Misty Rainforest. Then get a... This has to be a green source. Play Uro. They can just flashback this Memory's Journey, but if it's gone, that makes Endurance better versus their combo. Do I want to Dredge Loam here? That protects it from the Memory's Journey and gives me Endurance green card. But I don't actually want more lands. I think I will Dredge the Loam, though. That checks out. Here, I can Mystic Sanctuary Brainstorm to the top of my deck. Yeah, that's really good with Loam. Okay, target Brainstorm. We're having so much fun. I love moving cards around. And I did mill over a Wasteland there, which means they are incentivized to clear this Wasteland with their Memory's Journey, or else I could start constricting their other types of interaction. All right, well, Teferi resolves. Can't stop that shit, but I can remove it next turn. Minus, because they know I can remove it. Hit a land, ponder. From here, if they have Force Blue card and Nomad creature to target in their 5-card hand, I'm cooked. Shuffled the ponder, though. That's good news. I do need this Teferi out of here. Okay, if I go Life from the Loam targeting Wasteland Misty Rainforest, what happens? I don't get to clear Teferi. I can Wasteland them here and put Uro into play. I don't think that's enough. Like, if their hand is just nothing, that's a great play. But if their hand is anything, I'm cooked. I could start with a Brainstorm, see where that goes. I could also just play Uro, see if it resolves, and then make decisions. Okay. Green, green, blue, blue. Exile stuff. That's not my lands. That resolved very quickly. Now I have access to Brainstorm. Had that anyway. The Savannah means my Leyline Binding costs less. Okay, I'll put in Scalding Tarn off of Uro. I'm going to Brainstorm now. On another land, ponder Brainstorm. Put back Savannah and Brainstorm. Because I'd like to cast Ponder this turn. All of this is just turning off the Leyline Binding, though. Okay. I'm going to get Xander's Lounge, then Savannah, then play Leyline Binding to clear the Teferi, and hope that Endurance can keep me alive for a turn. Starting next turn, I could get them into a pretty gnarly Loam lock if I get it next turn. Well, there's Nadu. Did they also have the Nomad? Shit. And I don't have a white card, so here comes the spam. Tameo, Plow, Illusionist. All right, don't hit a land, don't hit a land. Fuck! Yeah. One too many. I needed that Brainstorm to come up with one more piece of interaction, or I needed Teferi to not be in play. Or just find any white card to pitch to Solitude. Now I am very dead. Here they can play Tameo, which gives them 2 more flips now, which is also 2 more flips on my turn. And that's all presuming they don't hit enough lands to cast this Illusionist. Okay, they are out of flips. For now. They could just go again on my turn. They discarded Thassa's Oracle. And now they're flipping. Prismatic Ending. I'm not going to do anything yet because they could just draw their cards in response. There's the Force of Will. They would have hit it anyway, even if I Solituded in the upkeep. My deck is also full of Teferis, though. I have 2 left. I have a Draw Step and a Uro attack. Oh good, they hit 2 Force of Wills. Right, I'll attack with my creature. Wasteland no longer matters. I'll still put it in though. They took a bunch of damage. Ponder. Leyline Binding Swords to Plowshares. If I had pondered pre-combat, I would have got both of these. Did I blow it? I did. And knowing they have 2 forces means that even if I had both of these, it doesn't matter. Okay. They've made it over the hump. I'm off it. Okay. Pyroblast coming in here. Wrath of the Skies coming in here. I think Endurance is good enough, even though it's not actually good at beating Cephalid Breakfast and it's irrelevant versus Nadu. It's still a flash threat with some amount of text. Ghost Vacuum is a maybe. I don't want more Consign to Memories. I might not even want the one that I have. Yeah, I think Consign comes out. Timeless Dragon, really slow. Force of Negation. That counters to Fairy, but no part of their combo. And they're not going to attack my mana, so I can cut a Loam. Yeah, I guess I'll try this. That was actually close. Like, once they break through the dam, it's over, but 1 white card short of stability there. I'll keep my hand. And my plan is to fetch Hedge Maze and then cast Malevolent Rumble, unless things change. Ponder, they mulled to 6. End step Hedge Maze, Ghost Vacuum, Slurp Slurp. I can Rumble and play Vacuum this turn. I'm going to fetch Tundra, cast Rumble, and then use the spawn to cast Ghost Vacuum. I'd like up the Beanstalk, Entombing an Uro. Let's go. Busted. Ghost Vacuum. Slurp it up. We've seen Prismatic Ending in their deck. We've seen Teferi. This Ghost Vacuum's not going to hold forever. But it does take the most pressing concerns off the board. I'm going to lead on Beanstalk here. This gives me Force Blue card, Solitude White card, all of which draw a card. Getting the hooks in. Plotting endlessly towards this Uro, who is already ready to escape thanks to the cards from Rumble. They kept their card with Hedge Maze. This is Teferi. I'm going to force it. We did it. End step Meticulous Archive. I don't need another Flooded Strand. I will exile Teferi. Untap Slam Uro. Exiled all my lands because I have as many Mystic Sanctuaries as I have Loams at this point. Okay, I put them under pressure. If they can go off through a Solitude, Cantrip, Brainstorm, Dig, then they got me. Shuko resolves. Slurp up a Flooded Strand. Okay, here come the beats. And Teferi can bounce Urza Saga. Attack. I did draw life from the Loam after exiling all my lands. It's fine. It's fine. Blue, white, colorless Teferi. Bounce that Urza Saga. Up the Beanstalk. Get another one going. And, alright, don't kill me this turn. Cavern of Souls. That's not the interaction I had. Okay, Nadu will resolve. And then I will exile it in response to the trigger. They draw a bunch of cards off Solitude. They end up getting 2 triggers this turn anyway, but at least Nadu's gone. Cool. That's how we do it. Pile up a bunch of Garbo. Urza Saga confirmed. I already have my Wasteland, Stress Down, Teferi, and Wrath of the Skies in, so that doesn't actually change information. I'm not bringing in Force of Vigor for Urza Saga and Shuko. Consign to Memory does counter Shuko, or Urza Chapters, or Thassa's Oracle. I just don't think I have room for one of these things in the deck with all the cards I actually want to play. I could cut one Uro, but it pitches to Force and Endurance and is my win con. As we saw game 1, you have to turn the corner quick after slowing them down or else they just figure it out. Okay, same deck. Okay, I can... This is really slow. I will keep it. If they just Nomad into the win, I lose. If they don't do that, I'm in reasonable shape. Wasteland doesn't help. Misty Rainforest, pass. Hope they respect interaction here and don't just send it. Okay, sweet. Breathing Room. Misty Rainforest from your opponent. They did not shuffle. I'm going to get Hedge Maze. Dig, dig, dig. Sanders Lounge. I don't want that. Especially with the Loam in my hand, I can find that when it matters. Swords to Plowshares, I do want that. Do I think they have a basic forest in their deck, or do I think they're going to get Hedge Maze and then get Wastelanded here? I could also just Rumble, or I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed for Tundra and just take the safe route. This at least holds up Swords to Plowshares, giving me a chance to do anything. Dump their Dread Return naturally. Powerful line. Cavern. Wizard. Do they have backup again? Here's Illusionist. They're going to get to mill 6 here. If they have Force of Will, we lose. And they do. All right, GG. Run over by a combo deck. 2 out of 3. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I'm on the draw for round 4. My mana's under me. I have creature removal. I can start rumbling. I have a force but no blue card. Oh good, another Underground Sea. Ponder. Did not shuffle their Ponder. With all these plows, I think I would like to just play this Archive. I don't want Teferi. I want lands. Teferi is a blue card for my force, but that's not going to matter if they Entomb Reanimate right now. Okay, we did get a turn. Brainstorm's a good one. I think I would like to pass here. I have Brainstorm and Plow as cards I can play. The Scalding Tarn does not fetch Savannah. That's important to remember for sequencing, as much as I'd love to Brainstorm into a white source and still have access to green. I can't actually do that with this setup. End Step Sewer. Kept the card. Soporific Springs as land number 3 untapped. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say this card is not in any Dimir Tempo or Reanimator deck that I know of. We've got Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. We're playing against ninjas with a slow start. I don't mind if they do force this. That's 2 cards, and I have 3 spot removal spells in my hand. Force Pitching, Force of Negation. You got it. I'll fetch Hedge Maze in the end step. Hedge Maze. Do I want Ponder? I think I do. All right, Ponder on top. Cast the Ponder now. I'm just looking for another land, and Ponder's 3 looks at the land. Sweet. Force of Will and Uro. Don't really want Force of Will. Uro's fine. And I think I'm going to Plow on their turn so my Force can help protect. They've shown me Soporific Springs and Force of Negation in the main deck, and letting them untap into 3 mana is not free, but having a Force up is pretty important. And look at that. I'll Force of Negation back. If their last card in the hands are Force blue card, I am holding. Oh wow, look at that. Pitching a Daze. Okay. Well, we're going to get hit with a Yuriko, and they're going to have 2 cards in hand. Then I'm going to bind the Yuriko and start to recover from there. Yuriko trigger. It's Fatal Push. My deck does not care about that. Okay, I do want access to this Uro, and I guess I'll fetch the Xander's Lounge now. Just play around Daze. Leyline Binding, take Yuriko, pass. The Fatal Push did make it so I couldn't just rumble and block with the spawn. A little bit annoying. Ponder. The Yuriko quadruple force Daze hand is pretty sweet though. Shout out to my opponent for having the bravery to keep this. I would keep it too. Love that. Did not shuffle Ponder. Retrofitter Foundry. Okay. They're on the old Retrofitter build, not the modern age new one that plays Satoru. I can Rumble and Uro this turn. I'll do that. Rumble first. Up the Beanstalk Leyline Binding. I'm actually more interested in Leyline Binding. I have a card advantage engine already, and as long as I can keep their Retrofitter Foundry under control, I think I'm okay. I will get Savannah here to round out my colors, and then blue, green, colorless. I don't care if this gets dazed. Uro trigger, Swords to Plowshares. Cool. Just getting the wall up here. Main phase Servo. Another Leyline Binding. Okay, so they could next turn turn their Servo into a Thopter and use that as Revolt for Fatal Push. I can afford to Rumble and leave up all my white. Binding does cost 1 right now. Bunch of lands and an Uro. Do I think wastelanding them's useful? I don't think so. Is Volcanic Island useful? I also don't think so. I do have 3 islands for Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. Leyline Binding. Take out that Retrofitter. That's out of here. I kind of do have to block with this spawn, though. No, I don't. I can plow a ninja that comes out. Yeah, that's fine. And I can fetch a Tundra if they have a double ninja trick. Alright. You don't kill my creatures. Fizzle that Fatal Push. Got him. Okay, 2 cards in hand. If they're both ninjas, removal spells aren't really good enough here. But if there's only one ninja, they have to lose their servo to do this. If it's Kaito, I just kind of smoked myself. Alright, it was not Kaito. Plow. 1 card in hand. Cool. And end step. Played to this Mystic Sanctuary line. I would like to get back a Swords to Plowshares. I don't really need to counter cards in their deck. I just need to kill the creatures that they play. Green, green, blue, blue, leaving up the plow mana. Leaving a spread of relevant cards for Mystic Sanctuary and for Life from the Loam in the graveyard. Do I have any way to pick up Sanctuary? I guess in like a berserk long Insano game, I could wasteland it and loam them back. If somehow a spell is just worth 3 turns of development to get back. It's got to play in the end step. Is it Petty Theft? What are we doing? Murderous Cut. Deal. That already drew 2 cards, and killing it gives me a 3rd. They got to do what they got to do. I'm not saying the play is bad, but it's not good. And then they thought so, saying 2 removal spells. Okay, Hellbent opponent facing down Uro. I like my chances. I'm going to ponder first. Cool. Alright. Flooded Strand in the hand, Uro. Now I'm leaving lands in the graveyard. I don't think this game's going to come down to wastelanding my own Mystic Sanctuary. They've had enough. Yeah, that was a pretty slow start that my wall of removal was able to overcome their wall of permission. Endurance is good just as a blocker. Just a blocker with reach, pretty serious in this matchup. Pyroblast kills the ninjas. Ninjutsu's an activated ability. You can stifle it, you cannot consign it. Wrath of the Skies cleans up any number of servos and retrofitters. Force of Negation bad. Consign to Memory bad. I need 1 more cut. Force of Will's not great against them either, but just having a critical mass of unconditional interaction makes sense. Timeless Dragon's great. Just a 4/4 body on the board matters a lot. They might attack my lands. I didn't see a wasteland that game. They might even have Harbinger of the Seas in the sideboard. This is actually tough, but I think I am going to cut one of the loams. Okay, Xander's Lounge Flooded Strand does answer a creature on turn 2. If they have 1-drop into ninjutsu, they're going to have the tempo start. But if they do anything short of that, I like my hand. I'll take it. They went to 6. Island Ponder, cool. They might still play Ornithopter. I'm not out of the woods yet. If they play Ornithopter, pressure's on. If they don't, pressure's off. Did not shuffle Ponder, and did not have a Thopter. Cool. Xander's Lounge, get in there. I have to play Xander's Lounge because I want to be able to Binding on 2 if I need to. Basic, basic. Unlicensed Hearse. That is a powerful card that is extremely reactive. That means I don't have to Leyline Bind this turn. I think I'm going to Brainstorm. Put the Hedge Maze back in the deck. Basic Plains, solid. Uro's a lot worse with Hearse in play, but I can clear it. Yeah, Hedge Maze and Mystic Sanctuary. Those are both later problems. If I fetch Meticulous Archive and play Tropical Island, I have my domain. Brainstorm into Ponder. They're looking for cards. Their hand is so reactive that I'm very happy to take this posture. When I was worried about getting hit with the turn 2 ninja, then they have the card advantage already going. Then if they have a single interaction spell from my Leyline, I'm in trouble. Now all of that pressure's off. A Meticulous Archive. They are unlicensed Hearsing me in response. Archive. I don't want a basic island. I'm good on those. And if they have Harbinger of the Seas, that's not the color I need to worry about. Okay, full domain. And I can Leyline Bind their Hearse with Pyroblast backup and then get these arrows going. Harbinger of the Seas. What a surprise. Counter target spell if it's blue. That one. This is fine because I have Swords to Plowshares still in my hand with the basic Plains. I'm just going to take out this Hearse now before there's 2 cards in the graveyard. All right, Hearse is under there. The Forest Pitched Brazen Borrower, Harbinger of the Seas, a card that no one could have predicted. It's a little dicey because if they have the Force, I am in trouble. If they don't, they're in trouble. Cool, they're in trouble. I also get to shove Uro here. I have the land locked up. Life from the Loam starting next turn. Okay, cool. And they just pitched Brazen Borrower to Force. Brazen Borrower unlocking their Hearse from Leyline would actually mess up my game plan quite a bit. Main phase Undercity Sewers. I wonder if they have a Murktide or some kind of pivot like that. Do they have Ponder in their hand? Dump to Force of Will. Okay. We got him on the run. I'm going to get Hedge Maze. Force of Will. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will take a Force of Will. They're so far out of resources at this point that as long as I don't lose, I'll win. Land. Play the basic Island. Play the bonus Uro. I will Dredge Loam here. I can still cast it again this turn. And fetch a green source. I think there's a Trop left. I hope there is. There's a Trop and a Savannah. I'll take Savannah. Life from the Loam. 1 target. Better than none. Let's go. Okay. I am ready to turn the corner. Surgical Extraction on Uro means that I'm just going to grab Yorion next turn and start beating down that way. Endurance. I like Endurance. Blue, green, green, blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should I eat the other Uro? Do I need the Loam? I will eat the other Uro. I don't think they're going to exile this. Blue and black are not known for exiling creatures from the battlefield particularly well. The Uro's in. Endurance can join the beatdowns. Force blue card still available. If they kill Uro with some black spell, I can Dredge Loam and replay it next turn. Snuff out, sure. Ingenious Infiltrator, hard cast. I can block that thing with a variety of creatures. Fetch that last green source in my deck. Play Endurance, target my opponent. We've seen Murderous Cut in their deck, at minimum. Dredge Loam, play Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's Xaxes. Then with 1 card in hand, I don't think I need to dance around the Loam. Like, I could have Life from the Loam, pick up Flooded Strand, fetch, have 1 more land in play, and 1 card in the graveyard I could leave. I just don't think that is necessary here. I'm not going to attack this turn. I'll wait till next turn. I don't want to risk getting a Ninja card advantage train going against a single removal spell. 1 card in their hand. Cracking a fetch. We're going to see a hard cast Murderous Cut. Hell yeah. Glad I didn't attack. Is there anything worth brainstorming for here? I will brainstorm anyway. Okay. Nothing really worth brainstorming for. I don't need Loam anymore. I can put Teferi on top. And I'll just drop in another Endurance right now and start turning the corner on them. Target you. Teferi. Bounce your idiot. Attack for 6. I can hardcast Force of Will. I can't think of any card I would care about here, honestly. I'll just go to my turn. Another Endurance. Got him. All right, plus Teferi, attack for 6. They're at 6. I have the 3rd Endurance. Ponder, have fun. Shuffle the library. They're attacking me, just trying to get a card on the way to their grave. I won't even give them that. I miss playing with Endurance. This card was such a heater when Modern Horizons 2 first came out, then it sort of fell off. We're back, baby. On to the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set,
and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. It's the final round, positive record on the line. I'm on the play. I'll keep this hand with Brainstorm and some interaction. I got the unfortunate lizard brain tickle, like in the back of my survival instinct part of my brain, that this opponent is going to do something fast. I don't specifically recognize their username. Maybe it's the avatar. I don't know, but I just got that feeling. I hope it's wrong. Misty Rainforest. I will fetch for Meticulous Archive here because I have a basic forest in hand. I don't want another Misty Rainforest. Play this fetch land. That's a combo with Brainstorm, I've heard. All right, are we going to see an Undercity Sewers? Meticulous Archive. Okay. If they're combo, it's Nadu at this point. Brainstorm. Go for it. I'll Brainstorm in the end step. I don't really want a basic land, specifically. Okay. This didn't really solve any problems. I do have a force now. Okay, I think I'm going to put back Uro and Forest, and I'm not going to shuffle. I was hoping to find a better land than Forest so I could move that around. But if this is a fair matchup, I do want the Uro. And if it's not a fair matchup, okay. I have Force and potentially Solitude, depending on what sort of unfair deck they are. Wasteland, disappointing. Meticulous Archive, Wasteland. It's not the mirror match because they don't have Yorion. Okay, I will float blue, let this resolve, and cycle Timeless Dragon here. It could be Dreadnought, I guess. If it's that, then I have to worry about Stifle. Nadu doesn't usually play Wasteland. I will plane cycle the Timeless Dragon. Do I get basic planes? Probably not. I think I just want a replacement Tundra here. I could fetch Hedge Maze, but I've seen enough to suspect that this deck might have Stifle in it. And for that, I will just hold my horses. Aha! Alright, I will fetch Tropical Island and force some negation this. If they fight over this, I can kill a Null Drifter or Dreadnought next turn, but I'd rather they just don't have the option to do those things. And I'm now pretty confident what I'm playing against. It's Blue-White Dreadnought. Doorkeeper Thrall, you're in there. Oh shit. Artifacts and creatures. Okay, so Solitude doesn't work anymore. Leyline Binding still does. Endurance. Okay, I could play Volcanic Island and get a 1-mana Leyline Binding. I could Brainstorm and see what happens. I think I'll start with the Brainstorm. Or it's 2-mana Leyline Binding. Whoops. Hope that doesn't kill me. Force some negation. Alright, Xander's Lounge makes it 1 mana. Put back Volcanic Island and Tundra here. Or Volcanic Island, Xander's Lounge. Fetch Xander's Lounge. Yeah, okay. That does everything I want in the correct order. Xander's Lounge. Leyline Binding. Hope for the best. Okay, we're in there. Take out the Dreadnought and pass the turn. They could have more Dreadnoughts. They could have Null Drifters. If they bounce Leyline, then we just sort of push them back and forth. They bounce my thing, I take their Dreadnought again. I can pitch cast Elementals and they'll stay in play with Doorkeeper Thrall, theoretically. Ponder. But the Solitude being off sucks. Yorion being off sucks. They pondered, did not shuffle, then fetch to shuffle. Oh no. Okay, stock up. They spent 3 mana, and I was like, I hope this isn't Null Drifter. I'm really not ready for a Null Drifter. I'm more scared of Null Drifter than I am for Phyrexian Dreadnought right now. They've stocked up. What can I do here? At minimum, I can put Timeless Dragon into play. Okay. I think it's better to get a draw engine going. This is an enchantment, not turned off by Doorkeeper Thrall. They have Force of Will. Pitching Dress Down. I could have Force Negation that on the hard cast, and didn't. I didn't play around it. Should I have? I was hoping to draw a green source so I could cast Endurance this turn as well. Ooh, they're going to stock up again. Powerful. They're in the end game now, Stark. No! Fudge! Okay, bad news, everyone. We're very dead to this thing. There was no sequence of mana where I could play Endurance last turn and the Beanstalk. Okay, I mean, Uro just comes into play, just arrives. and chills. Okay, I mean, here's Uro. Hope it can hold the fort and race back hard enough. I'll probably sacrifice basic forest to the Annihilator this turn, and then try to grind back. And now they have stock up, and I'm tapped too low to do anything about it. Brainstorm into a fetch land. They've stocked up. Certainly the way the game has progressed, I wish that I had played my land before my Beanstalk 2 turns ago and fought over that. All right, I lose forest, and now I need a binding or a plow. Hey, okay. Bind, take out the Null Drifter. I can protect this with Force of Negation. Then we're back to taking 1 a turn. Losing the forest means that I can't play Endurance at all here. Should I have sacked this Tundra then? Interesting if true. Okay. I am going to force this stock up. This card seems really important, and we're both scraping for resources. If they daze this picking up their Mystic Sanctuary, and then they can stock up again, they're definitely going to win. Okay, it worked. Oh, they have another one. All right. This is the 4th stock up of the match, of the game. Volcanic Island, a 3rd color revealed, and a Dreadnought. Perfect. I just need the deck to, again, 2 turns in a row, deliver Leyline Binding or Swords to Plowshares. Tameo, you're not who I want. I guess I will eternalize this Timeless Dragon, take 12, and see one more draw this game. Yeah, go to 3. That's fine. It's getting worse. Play the last Dreadnought. Do it. Do it. For style. Wrath of the Skies be damned. Play the last Dreadnought. And we're dead. It did find the plow, though. Scoreboard. Moral victory. Okay. Wrath of the Skies comes in. Force of Vigor comes in. Consigned to Memory. Good here. I don't like Force of Negation. Pyroblast is medium. I'll think about that. Okay, Force of Negation's out. Teferi's insane. Life from the Loam is good. Rumble could be a little slow. Solitude's risky. Like, this card is really good in some situations and really bad in others. I think I'm going to shave a Solitude. And I need 1 more cut. Maybe I will just play 1 Loam. But they are a Wasteland Daze Stifle deck. Alright, I'll cut a Rumble. I'm boarding in a bunch of things that aren't permanents. And boarding out only 1 permanent, I guess. Alright. 1 land, it's Mystic Sanctuary, and I'm going nowhere after that, but every card in my hand's insane. Force blue card, Force green card. Consign's even good 1/1. I'm gonna mulligan. That one's too bad even for me. I'm gonna keep this in bottom Wasteland. I don't think screwing them off mana is how I'm gonna win this game. If that first hand had a fetch land instead of Mystic Sanctuary, you better believe I would have kept it, though. Ponder. Did not shuffle. I'll get Hedge Maze here. Hedge. Consigned to Memory. I'll take it. Pass the turn. And I'll get... I think I'll Brainstorm here. Do I want to Brainstorm? Yeah, Endurance isn't that important. I do have a card I could afford to lose. Brainstorm. Get rid of Endurance and the 2nd Force of Will. And then fetch Meticulous Archive. This fetch could be stifled. Hope it's not. Cool. Meticulous Archive. Beseiju. That kills a Dreadnought. I'll take it. Ponder. Timeless Dragon, Xander's Lounge, Uro. I think I want all these cards. Well, if I take any, I have to take them all. I will play Xander's Lounge this turn. And I'm ready. If they end step Dress Down or Thrall, I could consign a Null Drifter or Dreadnought. And if Dreadnought sneaks through, I can Beseiju it on the other side. I kind of like this Thrall in play because I'm drawing Uro next turn. Volcanic Island. And attack. They might just be casting their creature 2nd main in case they had Plow. Harbinger of the Sea as well. I'll fight over that. Force, pitching, consign, I guess. Strong pivot. I'm in trouble if they fight over this. Uh-oh. Well, I'll Brainstorm. I have the basic planes. I just need to find an answer to this thing. Okay. None of the above. Timeless Dragon can get basic planes out of my deck if I want to shuffle, which I do. Alright. Put back basic planes, Tropical Island. and then Harbinger will resolve, and in my upkeep, I will cycle for basic planes. Yeah, there's that. Up the Beanstalk. Hell yeah. Useful cards 101. I do play a basic forest. I play a lot of white removal. I don't have infinite time to figure it out, though. And now I'm completely ice cold if they have a monster. All right. Well, pitched my consign last turn. Wasteland. Ha! It's an island. Got him. Moral victory. Savannah. All right. I can get Yorion. I am fully in the garbage, though, to the Null Drifter. Yeah, I can't win this game. Okay. GG's. A 2-3 record at the end of the day with Yorion Rumblebeans. This deck did exactly what every Yorion deck I've ever played does, which is if it gets into that turn 4, turn 5 range, you just have so many engines, the Yorion's waiting, you grind people into dust. But it struggles to get over that line because even if we do add 2 Force of Negations to pad out the Force of Wills, what if what they play is a creature that I care about? Or what if they cast Entomb on my turn where I can't Force a Negation it? If you add Endurances, what if they're not using the graveyard? If you add Solitude, what if what they're doing isn't a creature? So, like, you get what I'm saying here. We do have a large number of things, but they don't all work unconditionally. Leyline Binding, really good with Beanstalk, really good with Rumble, but compared to Prismatic Ending, you can't, like, kill a Delver Secrets with it on turn 1. I was extremely impressed with the Rumble, though. Every time I cast this card was really exciting. Milled over Uros, Timeless Dragons, got a bunch of value out of this thing, in addition to the printed value. The spawns were relevant. There was that turn where I rumbled into Ghost Vacuum, then cast Ghost Vacuum on turn 2 versus Reanimator. That was awesome. I don't think this is the metagame for a deck like this right now. Maybe at the end of March, we will have some cards leave the format and slow things down a little bit. That's when I'd want to revisit something like this. But Lil Nebstar, thanks for exploring a cool new card. Congrats on your recent success with the deck. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.